Honorable MVURYA, I will ask you questions, one relating to where you're coming from, so we know how well you performed from your previous Ministry of Mining and Blue Economy, and then to the ministry that you're going to. First, I'll start. I would like you to tell us about the key deliverables that can be attributed to your tenure when you were the CS for Blue Economy, Maritime, and so on. Taking into account some of the issues that are raised, in 2023, there was unexplained deaths of cage farmers in Lake Victoria. What did you do about that? There was also, when you came into office, there had been a report in 2019, the performance audit report on monitoring of mining operations by the State Department of Mining. And an act of parliament, the Mining Act, had been passed when you came into office. So Kenya said that, the report said that currently only 1% of our GDP is attributable to mining, yet it should be as high as 10%. And another thing that was raised in that report is that we've had mines that have not been restored, which has become areas of criminal activity. There's also been deaths around unlicensed and properly regulated mines. So how did you work when you joined office to enhance the sector's oversight, improve licensing conditions, and to ensure that we have responsible mining practices? On where you're going, I'm reliably informed that the Ministry of Trade, where you're going, also has Kenya Bureau of Standards under it. Tell us what you will do to ensure that you curb the issue of counterfeit products and substandard products and contraband products coming into our country, particularly ethanol, which has caused the big challenge of illicit brew, because people are smuggling the ethanol through Uganda and Tanzania, because I think the duty in Kenya is much higher. And lastly, also the banned pesticides that are banned and have been confirmed to cause cancer, that are coming through our borders and are being cleared by KEBS. Thank you.
Nominee, you can answer those.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Honorable Gladys, for the questions that you put before me. First of all, when I reported and assumed office at the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy, and Maritime Affairs, this was a very new ministry. The three topics have been there before: mining, fisheries, blue economy, but in terms of having it as a ministry, that was the first time. So I did provide leadership in carrying out key reforms to ensure that that ministry can achieve the mandate and also can make a contribution in the economy of our country. And the first reform that we carried out was the reform around licensing. Before the reforms, licensing was very haphazard, and therefore what has happened now is that we have now an organized licensing system where investors apply through the online cadastre, and then we have structures that review and recommend licensing. And even as I left office, the process of licensing is up to date, and it is now working according to procedure. As a result of that, the moratorium was lifted in October last year, and licenses over 1,200 are now getting processed without any challenges. The second thing that is key for reforms is the testing and sampling. Investors had a lot of challenges, on testing their products, and therefore I led reforms that have now devolved 8 labs across the country. So now we have decentralization, and investors can easily now do their testing across the country. There's one more that is still under reform, the Madini House, which I also had committed to the committee at that time, and it is also in good progress. I also provided leadership in instituting reforms on value addition, and as we speak, we have quite a number of investors across the country that are doing value addition, because exporting of raw minerals denies the country a lot of revenue and jobs. If you go to the Western region, for example, we have an investor in gold refinery, 5.8 billion. In Elgeyo Marakwet, you have Flospa. We have an investor, 4.8 billion. In Vihiga, we have an investor, 2.5 billion. And we had also mapped other areas of the country. Right now, there's an investor who is ready to do 11 billion of iron ore in Taita Taveta. That will also benefit Tharaka in an area called Kithiori and part of Kitui. You know, so that bringing on board of investors is part of my achievement in the ministry. And we also organized the artisanal mining individuals into cooperative societies. Now we have about 300 cooperative societies that are ready for licensing across the country. I provided leadership in gazetting 29 artisanal mining committees that will be giving permits on the ground so that people do not have to travel away from where they are. We took the issue of illegal mining very seriously and safety, and proposed measures to have a mining police unit that is responsible for some of the issues. So I take note of the issues you have raised about the insecurity in some of the mines. So the mining police unit has been very critical in making sure that they work with the county security teams to ensure that some of these issues are being addressed on the ground. In terms of mine restoration, each of the applicants for a mining license, they have to attach an environmental restoration plan, which they do as they report, and they also do as they exit. And we have compliance teams to ensure that this can be observed. The other thing is that mining was understaffed, and we have quite a number of staff now who have come on the ground, and things are moving on. On blue economy, many people, many Kenyans had not understood the blue economy and fisheries sector. And we instituted reforms also to ensure that we can inspire the economy of the country through blue economy. As a result, we provided mapping in the Indian Ocean and Lake Victoria so that we can allow for lower level value addition units and infrastructure that are going to help fishermen and other stakeholders in the sector. So as a result, we did mapping from all the way Lamu to Kwale, and also from Busia to Migori, and identified areas for basic value addition. As I speak, these value addition points have now been contracted, and they will be helping fishermen to delay sales so that they can fetch good price. On that note, we also provided leadership in ensuring that we reform the beach management units into cooperative societies. Right now, we have around 240 cooperative societies in the fishery sector that are going to be very useful, you know, to engage with the economy in terms of capacity building, but also in terms of engaging and being linked to financial institutions. So right now, the government is now ready to invest 1.4 billion in the coast region for the landing sites, and the government is also ready to invest another 1.5 billion in the lake region, all the way from Mulukoba to Got Kochola in Migori, where those structures have been identified. Since independence, this country has not had an industrial vessel. We licensed the first one, which is going to be providing, avenue for industrial fishing and provide 4 billion every year in terms of income in the Indian Ocean. Our target was to do 3 before the end of the year, but last 2 weeks we gave license to 1 vessel, and more are coming to ensure that we are able to inspire the potential in the blue economy sector. So, Mr. Speaker, this topic is very lucrative, but I also want to add that Kenya is now a highly respected maritime country, because when we went to London last year and the campaign, Kenya was elected category C as a maritime country. And as a result of that profile, I continue to provide leadership to ensure that we are able to upgrade our institutions to fit the new profile. As a result of that, we have a pending draft bill for Bandari Maritime Academy to be a full institution. And part of the upgrade is to construct a survival and training center, which will cost the government of Kenya 2.4 billion, basically to ensure that we enhance our capacity building on maritime affairs.
Okay, I think, Honorable MVURYA, I think I'm satisfied now, but I think it confirms what the President said, that you had very poor communication, because you've done great things, but no Kenyan knows about it. I am from the Flospa area. I didn't even know that you have an investor for it. So maybe you can use an opportunity to tell my people in Elgeyo Marakwet what exactly you're doing with Flospa before you go to your next answer.
Thank you very much, Honorable GLADYS. And I think maybe we missed out, but the members of parliament from that region and the leadership, we were together when we were introducing the investor. But because of this session, I'm sure now we have created awareness across the board to tell everybody that now we have an investor in Elgeyo.
Before we go to the next, Salim, the licensed industrial vessel in our ocean waters, is it Kenyans or foreigners?
It is a foreign-owned, but also we will have Kenyans who also partner in that vessel.
What % local content?
The local content, okay, we haven't signed the agreement yet. I think that was part of the negotiation, but we are looking at between 15 to 30% Kenyan.
The law provides 40.
That was the initial negotiation, and the negotiations have not been closed, so I'm sure
anyway, now
my colleagues will take over and move.
We'll ask whoever will be taking over.
Exactly.
Majority Leader?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Remember, strictly 1 question each.
Honorable Speaker,